riding with the king.
And welcome as you're riding with the king on the Howard Eskin Show on Wednesday night when we're live on Wednesday night. And obviously you can see this forever if that's what you want to do. A lot of people have joined from around the country. Robbery, New York. I don't even know where that is. Las Vegas, Roxborough, New York, Arizona, Lincroft, New Jersey. I don't know if that's closer to New York or Philadelphia, but whatever the case, welcome to the show. Another great, terrific guest on the night. We'll talk some football and we'll talk some other things after I have my guest on about the Sixers. Another embarrassment on Tuesday night. They've lost 3 times by 40 or more points. This is supposed to be the NBA, but we'll deal with that. But first, I want to tell you, happy as always to have my presenting sponsor, Stillwell Financial Advisors, Jeff Stillwell, the award-winning Jeff Stillwell, an award by Ameriprise Financial. He gets recognition for being good at what he does, helping people financially plan a client, and it's outstanding client service. Jeff Stillwell has done a great job for his people. If you have interest in Jeff's services, it is 732-343 0813. As I say that, Jeff Stillwell is tuning in from Florida. He goes back and forth between this area and Florida. Welcome, Jeff, as you're in Florida too. We're going to get better weather soon here. But yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of things tonight. Touch on baseball, but certainly touch on basketball and what the NBA has become. I mean, it's a joke, but football, a lot of names flying around. Rams make a big trade. We'll talk about that. But I want to tell you about some of the other people that are part of this show, our partners. I see a comment up, 76ers are trash. I don't know if they're trash. Some of the guys are Embiid's making $63 million a year. I'm not throwing that. You can take him away, but I want to keep the money. Let's talk about our other partners. Thomas Chevrolet, great people, family business, 1263 West Baltimore Pike in Media, 38 years in the business. Right now, and this is not going to last very long, for up to $14,000 in savings available, 0% APR financing, terrific vehicles. Obviously, they had a Corvette for as long as everyone can remember. Equinox, which I'm driving now, very good vehicle, rated highly by Consumer Reports, Silverado, Traverse, Tahoe. And Thomas Chevrolet is a certified Corvette specialist dealer. Thomas Chevy, great service department. Will do service on any vehicle you have, whatever the make. They'll take care of it. They do a great job. I don't know how many people do that. Great selection also of pre-owned vehicles, new and pre-owned. Thomas Chevrolet, 1263 West Baltimore Pike in Media. Here's the number, 610-566-8600, or check them out on the internet, thomaschevy.com. Also, Piazza Property Pros, we're getting close to the season where you can use your pool only if you have a pool. And right now, Piazza Property Pros is doing a great job with showing you what it would look like virtually. They can kind of lay it out for you. You'll get an idea of what a pool would look like in your backyard, or whether you want a hot tub or a fire pit, whatever it is, they can do it. 25 years of experience says a lot. They don't subcontract, which is really important because it's their people. You can trust Piazza Property Pros. Matter of fact, Monday I'm going to go. They have a podcast. I'm going to go on their podcast on Monday. If you want to give them a call, 610-566-2608, and you can schedule a free consultation. That's 610-566-2608, or check them out on the internet, piazzaoutdoor.com. All right, still some things. The NFL never stops doing things. There's always something, okay? There's the combine just happened last week. The draft will come up in April. The schedule will come out. I love people that go on the air. What the wins and losses? You don't even know what the team's going to be, wins and losses. But to talk a little football, actually to talk a lot of football, been a successful coach in the National Football League. And I know a lot of people believe that. And that would be the new offensive coordinator of the New York Giants. And that would be Matt Nagy. The New York Giants hired the most sought after head coach in the NFL in John Harbaugh. That starts the ball rolling. Now they got Matt Nagy, who obviously have had success working with some really good people. One of those people, and we'll talk about it, in Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes. Welcome to the program, Matt. And I want to wish you good luck, but I'll do that anyway. But welcome to the program.
Thanks, Howard. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a good off season. It's been quick, but it's awesome here, and I love that music to start that they got going for you. That's a pretty cool song. I like that.
Riding with the king. That's what people are doing. You're riding with the king.
That's right.
You're riding with the king. Matt, it's just it's kind of an interesting when coaches are flying around. There was a lot of openings this year. Obviously, when head coaches have openings, then the staff has openings. It's crazy. What's it like going through that dynamic? And obviously, you were looking at the possibility. I know you were close to a couple of head coaching jobs, and I'm sure you'll be a head coach again in the NFL. You were already a head coach with the Chicago Bears. You worked a lot with Kansas City, with the Bears, with the Eagles. What's the process like when you go through all these things with coaching jobs?
It's a great question for me. This past offseason, it was definitely a whirlwind. And I look back to 2017 when I was in Kansas City. It all happened rather quickly for me when I became the head coach of the Chicago Bears. You prep the summer before so that you don't take any time away from your team during the year. And in 2018, when I became the head coach of the Bears, I also interviewed with the Colts. And that all happened really quickly. This year, it was a lot different. I had 4 head coaching interviews and ended up not getting any of those. And it's a roller coaster. It's an emotional time because you put a lot of time and energy into the process when the season ends. And you really never know how you do. You feel like maybe you did well, but you just have no idea what they're looking for. And when you get close, I had a second interview with the Titans, and it didn't come to fruition. But you look at things and you realize that things happen for a reason. And I ended up having an interview with Coach Sirianni and the Eagles for the offensive coordinator job, along with Howie Roseman. And then I had one as well towards the end of the process for the offensive coordinator job with Coach John Harbaugh. And the last 4 weeks that I've been in New York with Coach Harbaugh have been absolutely unbelievable. And I'm very lucky. And my time spent with Coach Reid and Brett Veach and Clark Hunt in Kansas City has been unbelievable. Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey has been phenomenal. But I think it was just time. It was one of those deals where it's just time for me to continue to keep growing. Coach Reid has been an unbelievable mentor to me, and now I get to do it with another Hall of Fame coach and Coach Harbaugh.
All right. So in your case, I mean, somebody has to offer you the job, but how important is it when you're taking a job for a team to have the quarterback that can help you look better? Because eventually, obviously, it's obvious you want to be a head coach with an offensive coordinator wants to be a head coach again. How important, and you got a good one with the New York Giants, how important is that as part of your decision?
It's a big part of it. I would say this scenario for me with Coach Harbaugh, it started there with him, with Coach Harbs, and just he wanted to know really my situation and my process that I was going through. Like I said, it was a little bit of a roller coaster, but that's, I think, a credit to him of trying to understand who I am and how I work and what's important to me. So we started there. And then once we were able to get past that, then we went into the interview process. And then, it was just him knowing as a head coach, for him knowing that he's going to a team in New York that has the pieces to be successful. And when you have that guy behind center, like we had in all those years in Kansas City with Patrick, that's certainly a must if you want to be successful. That's true. And so for me as a coordinator going into that situation on offense, when you have that guy and you have these other pieces that they have, it's so exciting. And so this is the first time, Howard, that in my career that I've ever been an offensive coordinator only play caller. So I've been an offensive coordinator, non-play caller, for essentially 5 years in Kansas City, and then I was a head coach play caller in Chicago for 4 years. But I've
Mhm.
never had my opportunity to just be an offensive coordinator, play caller, and allow it to be my quote unquote offense with the rest of these guys when we call plays. So this is the first time in my 15-year career that I've been able to do this, and that's been really exciting for me. And now you get to see how, from Coach Harbaugh's standpoint, what he wants to do with the culture in the building, and you put it all together, and it's been fabulous with these guys on staff.
Andy Reid has turned out. Maybe that's not the proper way to put it, but there's a lot of coaches that have worked under Andy Reid that have had success in the NFL. John Harbaugh is one of them. I
Sure.
remember I got to know John at least 25 years ago, and stayed in touch, and we've become friends. But and he came out of that. I mean, Sean McDermott, who lost his job, but he had 9 years with Buffalo. A lot of coaches have come from Andy Reid. What is it that Andy Reid does to help a coach better himself to move on to better things in the NFL?
The number one thing Coach Reid does is he lets you just be yourself. And so we're all different. But you better be loyal. You better be a hard worker. He better trust you. And if he does all that and he trusts you, the amount of relationships and people that he knows and what he's done, his record speaks for itself. That becomes our resumes. And we want to make him proud. I mean, he's somebody that you look at. I go back to Philadelphia when I first started in 2008 as an intern, 2009 as an intern, 2010 full time as a coaching assistant, not making a lot of money but foot in the door. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember watching him and thinking, man, the way this guy is just revered through everybody in that building and just the amount of respect that he has. And I was fortunate enough to see in those 2 years in training camp, but then in 2010, 11, and 12, which weren't the best of his years as a head coach. And we ended up getting fired in 2012. But I got to see how he handled the people side of it. And he never changed. And his players just absolutely adored him. They'd run through a brick wall for him. His coach is the same way. And so when I got fortunate enough to go to Kansas City in 2013 as his quarterback coach, I watched him transform that building that was coming from 2-14 and some tragedy in that building, that
Right.
fall before. And he just absolutely flipped the culture. And he did it by bringing people with him, some from Philadelphia and others from outside. And man, did he ever have these kids believe in him. And now he's taken it to the elite level now and to the top and winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl. And when you're a coach and you're in that, now it's almost like I graduated. I was there for 5 years. I quote unquote graduated, went and became a head coach in Chicago. Um, didn't know a lot of how to be a head coach in Chicago. Was fortunate enough early on that first year to go 12-4 and win a division, and probably set the expectations rather high.
Right.
But it was able to be a head coach for 4 years and then get fired, which many of us do. But I learned a lot, and he brought me back, and I was able to just see it from different perspective and different lens. And now I'm in another part of my life in the coaching world where now he again has helped groom me to now leave, be a coordinator, and try to go after it again. But he's just so passionate about what he does, and everyone loves him, and they never want to let him down.
Okay, so here's what, and I think I brought it up when I had John Harbaugh on the program with me, and I think Nick Sirianni, in that regard, not everybody, not everybody loved Belichick, not everybody respected Belichick, but it's hard to get, and obviously Tom Brady made a lot of that happen, but that's not my point. Is how hard is it to get players to both love you and respect you?
Yeah.
Because at that point, they will go to the wall for you. How
Mhm.
hard is that to do as a head coach? It's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
No doubt. And Having experience helps, being able to go through some of those experiences and those battles. You get to learn from it. Coach Reid's got to do that, starting back in 99. So he has a great balance of knowing he stays pretty consistent with his messages throughout the
Hmm.
year, but he'll pick and choose. And when he decides to let go and get into guys, he'll never embarrass you. It's always it's demanding but not demeaning. And there's a respect level, and the guys understand that. The guys crave that. They want that. And that's probably where I failed in my first opportunity in Chicago. Was I probably didn't have a great enough balance of being demanding enough in that role, because quite honestly, I probably didn't trust myself enough going through
Hmm.
that. Whereas now, going through that 4 years, coming back for another 4 years in Kansas City, I'm just at a different mindset right now as a coach. And so I've got to see it firsthand with Coach Reid. We became so close to this day we are, and it's just really, really cool to see.
When you mentioned Howie Roseman, so you talked to Howie. What were the Eagles when you go through the process? They obviously ask you a ton of questions. What were the Eagles looking for? Do you think they were looking for?
Um, they wanted, from what I took from that, was they wanted to hear a little bit about the style of offense philosophically, like what are your beliefs in situational football, philosophy wise. Coming from Kansas City, the last 4 years, and having Patrick, it's much more shotgun oriented.
Mm.
I think, like, they never got into what they were looking for. They just wanted to hear where I was coming from and what my belief was, and that sort of thing. So that for me is a challenge also, because the Kansas City offense has been so successful and continues to be successful with Coach Reid and Patrick Mahomes. It's what we there did best and what they do best. And so, but that's not who I am, and every team is a little bit different, and my offense will be different. So as I go into an interview with, for example, the Eagles or the Giants, as an offensive coordinator, I have to try to explain to them as best as I can what my beliefs are. And so they really directed it more towards that. We got into personnel a little bit, not a lot, but I think it was just more so of, they put out a wide cast of candidates, and they got to tell, can they like your personality? Do they like who you are? Is it a good
Hmm.
fit? And is it good for the players? So, I know I've heard nothing but good things about Sean Mannion, and I think he'll do a great job.
When you Philadelphia is an interesting place because everybody knows, because it was national news, what happened. Kevin Batula, who I think's a good coach. I
Yeah.
do think he's a good coach, and fans blame the coaches so much. Players make plays, or players don't make plays. I mean, it's really pretty simple. Uh, do you when you before you went into it, and I know you're from the area, you were a quarterback at Delaware. Somebody brought up that you played at what, Manheim
Yeah.
Central?
Yep.
Manheim Central. You were a
Lancaster.
play. Yep, you were a player there, so you know the area. But you know what's going on. Did you think about that at all? It's just, boy, this is a tough road. Philadelphia fans are really tough when you go into it before you even know whether you're going to be offered the job or not. How much do you think? Did you, or do you think coaches think about how tough it is to coach in Philadelphia?
I would say this, for me, it's an easy answer, because when I left Kansas City and went to Chicago, I'll never forget Veach saying to me, "Hey, dude, listen, man, I know you're going to be the head coach, but this is Chicago now. Like, this is a big time city, and they're all Chicago Bears fans." And so the thing with me and my family is we've been scarred, in a good way, and that's okay. You go to Chicago, and when you lose games that final season like we did, we went through it all. I mean, we've been there, done that. So I think it's important. Like, for me, there was zero concern, because number one, I grew up East Coast. I grew up an hour outside of Philadelphia. I grew up with, everybody was Eagles fans or Giants fans or Steelers fans, and so I know how that goes. And my family, again, they've been scarred too. It's whether it's fire whoever chance, fire Nagy chance, fire, any type of stuff that goes with being a head coach or a coordinator. It comes with the territory. Is it fair? No. Do we like it? No. I'd say social media right now is at its all time high. It can get ugly, but I know in my situation that wasn't any bit of a concern at all.
Okay, so Chicago, you're the head coach, um, 4 years, and there's an expiration date on everybody. It's a different expiration date on everybody. And John knew that, but he had a long time in with the Ravens, and Tomlin had a long time with the Steelers, but normally it doesn't last that long. Chicago, how much, because the fans are tough there too, how much do you think the fans influenced their decision to move on from you as a head coach? And do the fans have too much control? It's a double-sided question.
Well, I would say this. I think that it's only fair that, going we ended up 6-11 that year, my final year there, and you kind of have an idea of the feel of how things start to go, even in earlier in the season. The one thing with passionate fans in general is there's really probably five cities in the NFL sports world that it's really, really great and the best ever when you're winning, and
Mhm.
it's really, really bad and the worst ever when you're losing. And I would probably say that Philadelphia and Chicago probably fit that mold, along with New York and some of these big cities. They're passionate fans. People care. And so I think more than anything, you realize that it's an emotional deal that you go through. It's hard. You feel like you let people down, and do the fans want to win? So when you're not winning, you either win and you stay, or you lose and you go. I try to keep it super simple. What you go through to get to that point is never easy. And I mean, shoot, you look at a guy like Sean McDermott, a former Eagle, and what he did, and in Buffalo, where he's there 9 years and he wins a playoff game and gets fired. I mean, how that's Sean's a great guy, and that's the world we're in right now. So we are all there's 32 of us as a head coach. There's obviously double that as coordinators and per side. So it comes with the territory. You got to have thick skin. You got to understand it. But at the same point in time, it's our job to put up points as an offensive coordinator and win games as a head coach.
What do you think the fans have too much? It's not input, but influence on ownership when it comes to coaches.
Um, there could be maybe some per situation. Could be influence, because I think that's again, like, the social media world is at an all time high. So there's noise, but at the same point in time, I think it's these you have these owners that want to step back and really take a look at what's going on and where things are in the structure of the entire organization. And so it's not just the NFL. It's everywhere you look right now. It's in high school sports, for what it's worth. I mean, it's really there. You can hear parents and people on that side of it too. So I wish it wasn't, but again, I can remember Howard in 2012, when I didn't know anything, pulling into the NovaCare on the bus after a loss with fans standing outside with a sheet that says "Fire Andy," and I'll never forget it. And I'm saying to myself, my gosh, this is like this coach, he's phenomenal. And they're putting sheets out into the NovaCare of "Fire Andy." So it's a tough part of the business, but there's a lot of positives to this side too that we get to do. We're very fortunate, and so I try to stay on that side.
Okay, so now the quarterback has to be in lockstep with the offensive coordinator. Obviously, the head coach has, especially if it's an offensive minded head coach, but has to be in lockstep. Number one is, how difficult is that? It doesn't seem like it was with Patrick Mahomes. He's just a kind of a guy that kind of rolls with whatever you want to do. And Andy knew that when he drafted him. I mean, he moved from what, 27 to, I think it was 10 in
Yeah.
the draft. That's a pretty big jump to move up, because he knew he liked that quarterback. And I remember when Donovan McNabb was drafted, and obviously you weren't with the team then. The first guy was Tim Couch was the first pick in that draft, and I knew Andy really liked. I remember seeing Donovan at the Super Bowl, and he says, "I want to go to Chicago." I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, I'm from Chicago." I said, "You don't want to play in your home city. It's too much people wanting this, and I want tickets, and I want that." I said, "But I know Andy Reid really likes you." Uh, Tom Modrek, I think, was the personnel guy, and I think he liked Couch a little bit more than Donovan, but Andy really liked Donovan, and so he identifies that. When you look at the quarterbacks that you've worked with, what does it take to get on the same page with those quarterbacks?
Trust. You got to have trust. That's the first word that comes to mind, and then that trust is earned. So there's on the front end, and pretty soon I'll be going through that here with Jackson Dart, and being able to really. What's great about our situation in New York is I've been able to go through this in Chicago as a head coach with Mitch Trubisky and Justin Fields. I went through it with Patrick and as a rookie in 2017. And so now those experiences I got to go through, I get to use now where I went right and where I went wrong for Jackson. Jackson having a full year under his belt, getting to learn kind of how the speed of the game. But now it's like, okay, we come in and we really get to put together this offense. And I got to build belief within him and the rest of the players of what we're doing and how we're going to get there. And there's hard work involved. I learned that firsthand with Coach Reid is there's a lot of hard work that goes in on the front end. And then as you start to see some incremental improvements, you get a couple wins under your belt, then they want more, more, and more. And so that trust is it's so critical to have on both sides.
So with Jackson Dart, I don't know. Quarterbacks and most quarterbacks now that come out of college have this mobility, and it's the way they are in college. It just those are those guys. It seems like there's more of those quarterbacks than anything else. Will it be hard to? And I liked him as a quarterback, but you got to keep him healthy. Is it hard to explain to him? Hey, listen. Sometimes you got to you got to suck it up, and the play's not there. You may be able to run. You got to go down. All these things you tell a guy. How hard is it to convince a quarterback that has that athletic ability to sometimes you can't put yourself at risk?
Yeah. So what I've done is when I first got the job, I went right into it and started watching every play from the entire season last year and a little bit from the previous season. And I wanted to see just, how the players played, et cetera. But as I was watching Jackson, I put together some clips that I saved and tagged of hits that did not need to be taken.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a volume of those. And so being able, when I can get with him and show him these clips, listen, don't change your game. Your game, like what you do as a runner is rare. It's different. We're not going to take that away from you. But there's going to be a lot of runs in this first year, rookie year of yours, where you took some hits that you did not need to take, dude, at all. And you took them. Like there's one I can think down where he's running down the sideline for a 15-yard gain. And he goes ahead and he could easily just get out of bounds and not take a hit. And he lowers his shoulder, takes an extra hit, and not needed. It got you a half a yard. Just get out of bounds. There's another one where he runs a safety over, takes the ball, runs 25 yards downfield, switches the ball into his left hand, and then goes and throws a forearm to the guy's helmet that's trying to tackle him. And so like little things like that. But eliminate those, take those away, and keep doing the other stuff because it's a weapon, and teams are scared to death of it.
How good? And obviously, you've watched a lot of them now. But you were in the other conference, so I don't know that you saw that much of the Giants, and he only played 1 year. How good can he be? And I know you're going to say good things,
yeah.
But I think there are good things ahead for this guy. How good can he be?
That's real. I've been evaluating quarterbacks for a long time, and I happened to ironically watch his college tape last year, and came away. I loved his film last year, loved him, and then I watched him at the combine, and I saw something that he has. He has some moxie, and he has that it factor that is not everybody has. And when you have that as a 22-year-old kid, you have this it factor. I kind of went through that a little bit in Kansas City in 2017 with Patrick, and to where he's taken himself to now. It's just different. And then you talk to the coaches that were with him last year, and you see how he led and what the respect that he got from his peers and his teammates. The kid is super tough. He has a connectivity to him. Guys love him. They want to play for him. That's a start. Now we got to take it to the next level. But I really believe he can be really, really good. But obviously, like any quarterback, you got to have guys around you. I mean, look at Patrick, his rookie year or his second year in 2018. He had an offensive line. He had Travis Kelce in his prime. He had Tyreek Hill. He had Sammy Watkins as a top
Mm.
free agent, and he had Kareem Hunt as a young guy. So like, and those guys, a lot of them knew the offense. So they're all a little bit different. They took advantage of that. But for Jackson, the sky's the limit for him, and he's a great kid, and he wants it.
Okay, quarterbacks, and I had both Chris Sims and Kurt Warner on, and they say when you looked at Jalen Hurts, and obviously you've seen him play because he's
Yeah.
played against Kansas City in the Super Bowls and during the regular season. They pointed out that his progressions are not there. What does it take? My question is, what does it take for a quarterback to be? Is it innate? Is it learning to go through his progressions to extend a play? And there's always somebody open. You just got to be able to extend a play, and you got to have the vision. What does it take for a quarterback to do that, to go through those progressions, to make sure you've exhausted all your possibilities in trying to make a completion?
Yeah, I'll use Jalen for example, just watching him play over the years and the success he had. I mean, it's something where the progressions and a lot of these teams right now on offense are going to pure progressions, which they're just starting on one side and working to the other side because these defenses are getting tougher and tougher to read what coverage they're
Yes.
in. So like back in the day, yeah, it's cover two. We know it's cover two. So now you're gonna work your feet and change your feet up from a 7-step drop to a 5-step drop, plant throw, cover two. Mike Backer gets depth. You throw it to the fullback underneath, or the Mike Backer jumps the fullback. Now you throw the post over the top to the tight end. It's not like that anymore. The game's much faster. The defensive coordinators hide what they're doing. So these pure progressions is about footwork and timing and trust with knowing where to go, and then getting back to number 3 and number 4. Some guys, like for instance with Jalen, he's been through some different offensive coordinators, and I don't know the intricacies of what he's been through X's and O's wise, but just kind of watching them, and I look back to the Super Bowl when the Eagles smoked us a couple years ago. They with Kellen Moore, they didn't do a lot of. It was rather simple, the game plan what they did, and it really was, but it was efficient and effective. And so, the biggest thing as a quarterback is just getting in an early rhythm, trusting your O line. He's got a great O line there to be able to drop back when you got to throw, match up your play action and your screens to your run game, and then make plays when plays are being made. Be different, and he has that in him. And I just know that like right now it's not easy to play quarterback in this league. So there is a process, and there's got to be Howard too. There's got to be patience with these quarterbacks. Everybody wants the microwave right now, where you just throw them in a microwave and they're good in a year. And C.J. Stroud and some of these other guys did it, but it takes a little bit of time, and I think there needs to be patience, and that's where if you can have that, it can end up being really good in the long run.
John Harbaugh is a terrific coach, and I'm sure it's a great. If you weren't going to be a head coach, it's a great situation to work for John Harbaugh. What is it about him and getting to know him? And you guys know each other. I mean, I don't think you weren't with the Eagles at the same time, were you?
No, I missed him.
Okay. Well, what is it that you think is going to be a really good situation, knowing who John Harbaugh is, of working with John Harbaugh?
Yeah, just a leader of men and is very vulnerable. What I've noticed in the last 4 weeks is he wants to know the ins and outs of everything and why you're putting stuff in. He wants to know the details of literally everything that you talk about has to have an answer to it. And I think for me, and then he'll tell you if he doesn't know the answer to it, he'll tell you, well, why is that? And I don't understand why. And then you talk through it. And I just think it's really unique. It's a unique perspective from my stance of like, again, hey, he comes from a big time coaching family. They know how to lead. And again, him and Coach Reid. If I wasn't under Coach Reid, I've never been under another head coach. It's either been Coach Reid or I've been a head coach. So now being out underneath Coach Reid and seeing some differences of two Hall of Fame head coaches, it's fascinating for me, and I just love the way that he leads. And it's different in a good way. And I think it's important, and it helps me out too to understand there's different ways to do things, and they're both right, but how they do it might be a little bit different. But it's been really cool to see him put this staff together.
Okay, there were a lot of head coaching openings, and the team that you felt that you were probably closest to, if you've gotten a job, which was which team?
The Tennessee Titans. Yeah,
And
yeah,
why? Tennessee has a quarterback too, and
yeah.
so that would have been a good situation. So
Yeah,
obviously,
again, it's all part of the process, and you spend a lot of time, and every team is all four of those interviews I felt really good about. I also interviewed with the Raiders, the Cardinals, and the Ravens, and they were all great, and but to each their own. And in the end, sometimes you don't know why when you're going through it, and it might be frustrating. But now, after you go through everything, I sit here and I feel so lucky. I really mean that. I am not saying that. I feel so lucky that I am the offensive coordinator for the New York Giants. I cannot wait. I mean, I am in a great place right now, headspace wise. We have a great staff. Everyone has really just been so good to deal with. Coach Harb's leading it. It's been awesome.
all right. Well, I'm gonna. It's not pressure. By the way, when it's New York media, so you're going to have to deal with it
Yep.
just like the head coach is going to have to deal with it. You know what he said? I still never forget this. What he said to me, I says, the New York media is kind of tough. He says, you know what? He picks up his phone. He says, all this stuff that goes on right inside this little phone with social media. I'm not going to pay attention to that, and I'm not going to listen to some guy sending out stuff from his mother's basement. I mean, he was great. He was like, let it roll. Let it
Yeah,
roll, Jeff.
yeah.
And that's what you can't let yourself get caught up in that. But what I did tell him, and I really believe this, not because I like him. I know he's a good head coach. I think the New York Giants in the maybe next season, within 2 years, will be the NFC division champs. I really believe that. You got the quarterback, you got a great head coach. It looks like he's put together a good staff, obviously, and you're a part of that. And you got some good young players, and you got another good pick coming up this year in the draft, another top pick. Not a lot of pressure, but now that I
Mhm.
said it, you better.
Yeah,
Not that people in Philadelphia are going to like that,
yeah.
but whatever the case. I mean, with that quarterback, you do have a chance,
For
obviously.
sure, and you have to have that, and there's a lot of pieces in that building, and I think that's why they went and got Coach Harbs, and he's there, and there's a direction, and we understand what that is, and we're putting it all together right now, and can't wait for the guys to get here in the spring for OTAs.
All right. Well, I give away prizes on something you said. I ask a question. So just to kind of try to make the Eagles fans a little happier, I'm giving away an Eagles hoodie tonight.
Awesome.
But if you want one, fanatic sent it to me. So if you want one, I can send.
I'll have to give it to one of my family members back in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
If you ever need one, just make sure you can get it. But then I'll trade you. I'll get a Giants hoodie to piss off the Eagles fans. Obviously there's Cowboys fans, and in this area there's Giants fans. So I would really piss off Eagles fans
No doubt.
if I wore a Giants hoodie. Hey, Matt, I always try to have fun, and I've succeeded, and I hope you had fun, and I really enjoyed it, and I really wish you good luck. You got a good situation there, and much success, and thanks for being on the program. I really do. I really enjoy. And again, I'll get you an Eagles hoodie if you.
Nah, yeah, I hear you on that. Well, you know how much I appreciate you going back to the early 2010, 2011, and that time when we were there. You've always been there, and it's been awesome. So I wish you nothing but the best, and I appreciate you.
You know what? And the same right back at you. Rich Gannon told me he used to, when he was a quarterback at Delaware, he used to listen to me on the radio. Did
Yep.
you ever hear me on the radio
I
back when
did, yeah. I
did
absolutely
you think
did.
I was an asshole back then or
Not
no?
at all. Not at all. You know that. Not at all.
I know people say, this guy, it's just, what the hell is
I
he
just always
saying?
remember the fur coat, the bling and the fur coat on the sideline. That's what I always remember.
That's great. But hey, Matt, I really enjoyed it. Thanks. And again, good luck. And we'll stay in touch. Take
Thanks
care.
again, Howard. I appreciate you. Take care.
All right, thanks. All right, Matt Nagy. Yeah, those guys at Delaware. It's just, hey, listen, I was big with Rich Gannon. He listened, Matt listened to me. But yeah, I'm going to have a question coming up from something that he said to win that Eagles hoodie. But first, I want to tell you about the winner from the last show. And they won a Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. Louis DeSanto. The question was, Mark Lawrence had 2 games he picked. And matter of fact, they both won. He picked when he was on the show on Saturday. And I asked the question, what are the 2 games that he liked? And Louis DeSanto was one of the many people that entered to win, submitting his entry to my website. And Louis, congratulations on winning the Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. And I'll have a question for you coming up. We're going to get into the Sixers. Matt's fun. I mean, Matt was fun, and he's a good coach. He's with a Patty thanked him. Yeah, you're not going to thank him when the Eagles lose to the Giants. You're not going to thank him, Patty, and nobody else that enjoyed it. It's just, yeah. I mean, hey, it is what it is. They have a good quarterback and a good coaching staff, so it's going to be a much tougher division. But we're going to talk about the Sixers. I mean, I got to talk. It's an absolute 100% disgrace to lose by, in an NBA game, to lose by 40 points. And they 3 times this year, they've lost by 40 or more points. But we'll get into that. First, I want to thank again, and I know as I got a text message from him that Jeff Stillwell, our presenting sponsor, Jeff was listening in Florida. And thanks for listening, Jeff. And thanks for being a big part of this program. And congratulations to you with your award, the recognition given to you by Ameriprise Financial. And they give it to you because you're good, Jeff. They don't give it to you just because they want to give it to you. And you're good with your customers. You're good with their help, good with helping them. And that's important. And people hopefully understand that, people that you've worked with and have helped them, and you can help other people. Jeff does a great job as an advisor and helping you with your financial planning. His number 732-343-0813, 732-343-0813. All right. Phillies are probably going to have another suspension. Rojas got thrown off the World Baseball Classic team. I think he was playing for the Dominicans, and they tested him. He tested positive for PEDs. I don't know what's going to happen in Major League Baseball, but obviously they're going to look at that, and we'll see what happens there and see if he's not an integral part. The Braves lost their DH for the season. And that's pretty tough too. All right. Other people I want to tell you about are Thomas, big parts of the program. They're partners and they're friends. And that's what Thomas Chevrolet has become. 1263 West Baltimore Pike, really nice vehicles. I didn't ever think, and it's not far from where I live, and I popped in there and all of a sudden I know the owner, Tom, listens to the program. And, he enjoys it and wanted to be a part of it. 1263 West Baltimore Pike, family owned, 38 years in business. Great people, straight deals, no need to hassle or haggle. Really good vehicles. I'm driving the Equinox and I'm really happy with it. And so is Consumer Reports. Silverado, Traverse, Tahoe, and Corvette. And Thomas Chevrolet is a certified Corvette specialist. And they have not just the new vehicles, but the pre-owned vehicles. Great savings, as you see up on the screen, $14,000 in savings, 0% APR in some situations for 60 months. Thomas Chevrolet, great service department. I met those guys, really fun guys. Thomas Chevrolet, new, pre-owned. Here's the number: 610-566-8600, or check them out at thomaschevy.com. And another partner of the program, Piazza Property Pros. Uh, you want to set up your property, whether it's the front yard or the backyard, visually. They have people that they can do everything. Whether it's landscaping, fencing, hardscaping, whatever it is, pool maintenance, building a pool. You got to start thinking about that now. But they can give you a vision of what your property will look like. Also, whether it's a hot tub or a fire pit, whatever, front, back, all over the place. 25 years of experience. Don't subcontract. It's their people. They have a great bunch of people. They've turned it into a really good business. I'm going to be on their podcast. We're going to tape it on Monday. Just to talk to those guys. I pop over there once in a while, say hello to them too. Give them a call. 610-566-2608. Piazza Property Pros, 610-566-2608, or check them out at piazzaoutdoor.com. All right. The Phillies, now that they played Canada today, does anybody really give a damn that they played Canada? Does anybody really give a damn? No. No. It's just they lost guys for a couple of weeks. Season starts at the end of this month, the regular season. 162 games worth. That's long. That is long. But the Phillies, we'll wait till they get here. And obviously, Zach Wheeler's not going to start the season on the active roster. And that's important. But we'll see. We'll see if the lineup does anything, does better things. We'll see about all that. But let me get to the Sixers. That last night being Tuesday night, we're taping this on Wednesday. Tuesday night was a flat out disgrace. That is insulting to the fans. I see a comment up here. The Sixers are abysmal. I don't know that abysmal is a good enough word. Sixers are brutal, awful, embarrassing. And Embiid, okay, he has an injury. He's always out for games, not one game. He's always out for games. So they say he's going to be out for 3 games. How do you know it's not going to heal a little bit better? And then they're going to, we got to get him ready for the playoffs. Oh, really? First of all, you got to make the playoffs. They're a half a game away from being on the play-in game. Right now, their record is a half a game away from being on the play-in game. And if they have to play Charlotte in a play-in game, Charlotte's turned into a good team. There are good teams in their conference, not as good as some of the teams in the West, but there are good teams. But they're an embarrassment. And Embiid, here's another thing, and this really, it doesn't piss me off. But it's insulting to your teammates. They had a quick cutaway, and sometimes you can't always judge what a player's doing from a quick shot on television during the game. But they had a quick shot, and you saw him reaching down below. He obviously had a cup. Maybe it was between his knees. He had something there. He was pulling it up and eating things. Now, it looked like it wasn't French fries, and it wasn't – they ought to bring him a hot dog if he wants to eat on the bench. It had to be candy or nuts. You're not supposed to eat on the bench. I mean, that's like it's an in-house. It's like a team rule by most teams. If you want to go – if you're hungry and you want to go get something to eat, just go back, wait for a timeout, go back to the locker room, grab something to eat. But you shouldn't be sitting there. And they caught him on TV eating something during the game. That's just insulting to your teammates. Just insulting. But he's done. I love people when I posted something on social media today about the loss, and I said it was 2 times they've lost by 40 or more. I stand to be corrected. It was 3 times. 2 is bad enough. 1 is bad enough. 40-some points. It's an NBA game. It's not a Division II game. But people pointed out, and I said I made a point that he didn't want to play against Wemby. He didn't want to play against Wemby. but he takes off games, and it's it's a joke. But he says, "Oh, I didn't want to play against Wemby." He scored 70 against him. I believe Wemby was a rookie at the time that the Sixers played them. Uh, I think San Antonio was 8-39. They were a horrible team. Scored 7. Who cares? It's a different time. That was 2 years ago. He's not close to the same player. When I say he's not close to the same player. And that is, it's a joke. It is absolutely, positively a disgrace. It's just the way these guys are. And everybody's hurt. Everybody is hurt. The game against Utah and the next night, there's 10 guys out for both teams. 10 guys out. I have a question. And I really like Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry signed a contract. I think it was like $3.5 million. He's played like 9 games all season in a 40-point blowout. Don't you think he should be in the game? Like, why is he there? Is he there just to babysit Joel Embiid? And I know he babysits, he can help the guards a little bit. He's a pretty smart and sharp guy. Give him some minutes. The fact that he was the only player in that game against San Antonio that was a coach's that wasn't hurt, that was a coach's decision he did not play. Like, why doesn't he play? It's Kyle Lowry. It's 20th year in the league. Did you just sign him to be a babysitter for Joel Embiid? Because he called out Joel Embiid one time. I see a comment up here. Time to move off Embiid and George. You can't. Their contracts prohibit them from really having another team wanting to take those contracts on. Do the Sixers have a heartbeat? They don't care. They don't care enough. Maxey, I'm telling you, Edgecoms cares. I mean, Maxey is the guy that cares on the team. He listens to the coach. He cares about his teammates. He plays hard. But the game, and then watching the game, it's just back and forth with 3-point shots. It's a horrible game. The NBA has turned in, and Charles Barkley, when he was on, brought it up. It's turned into a 3-point game. It's 3-point shots. It's terrible. Clank, clank, clank. Remember, they're going to miss 65%, and that's a good percentage. 65% of the 3-point shots they take, most teams miss. Some miss more. 65%. It's a horrible game. The Sixers are a horrible team. It's an embarrassment to charge anything when guys are hurt, and they don't know when players are going to be hurt. But when guys are hurt, they should give refunds or credits to more tickets. They should give credits. Nobody wants to buy the tickets. How about the Sixers had a promotion? 0% ticket fee before Maxey, when he broke Allen Iverson's 3-point record for 3-point shots made. First of all, it's a joke because he takes 200 to 300 more shots a year. He did it in 6 years, and Iverson's well, I don't know how many years Iverson had with the Sixers, but Michael Jordan, I pointed this out. Michael Jordan, for his career, had 581 3-point shots made. Maxey broke Iverson's record with 887, and he's got more. Obviously, he's got more now. So he beats Michael Jordan. It's a joke. It's a joke. If the Sixers didn't play the rest of the season with Embiid, with Paul George, and he's out for a suspension, like, who cares? Who cares? If the fans are coming out to see Embiid play anymore, they're getting ripped off. They're getting ripped off. I mean, it's a joke. I think it's disgusting. But for those people, he scored 70 against Wemby. Yeah, that was 2 seasons ago. Wemby's a totally different player. How about Wemby played 25 minutes and was plus 41 in plus minus? The Sixers suck. All right, I mean, I think that's pretty clear. The Sixers just suck. But I want to give the Flyers a shout out. I'm glad to see that the Flyers are back on track. They won, what was it, 3 games in a row. I knew they were a better team than that. They got to get another score going into next season. But they're going to win a championship not anytime soon before the Sixers. The Sixers, 3 to 4 years away from being 3 to 4 years away from being 3 to 4 years away. That's who the Sixers are. They're being it's a joke. And I do want to send my or just express my condolence. I'm not sending him to anybody. I don't know the family. I was not a Lou Holtz fan. And I used to rip him because I ripped Notre Dame all the time. It was fun ripping Notre Dame because of all those Notre Dame losers. And he got away with breaking. Guys didn't have to have an education, but whatever. Most guys playing football don't care anymore anyway because they get paid now. But I used to rip him a lot. And then when I met him, we really had a good conversation. He came into Philadelphia, and the guys here told me he was coming in. So I went to meet him, and we talked for a while. We were laughing. We had a good time. So in the end, we got along, and I'm happy. Got along well, and I'm happy. I'm happy that happened. The one play that he hates, I remember I'm standing on the sidelines. It was a game against the University of Miami, and Miami got rid. The national championship we won was because the officials took it away from the University of Miami. Otherwise, he wouldn't have, not the national championship game, but a game in South Bend. But I never forgot. It was 3rd and 44. Can you imagine that? Wesley Carroll was the wide receiver, and it was right in front of me. I'm standing on the sidelines for the Miami game against Notre Dame, and it was in my, it had to be in Miami. And 3rd and 44, and they converted the 3rd down on 3rd and 44. Lou Holtz did not like that. But Lou, my condolences to the family. Football lost a really good guy. He really is a good guy. And rest in peace, Lou Holtz. And I want to send those thoughts out on the show tonight as well. Let me look at some of the comments. Forgot about Notre Dame Harvey, another guy that was clueless. Trust the process for all those morons, and that's somebody in the family too, that trusted the process. And B was a pick. He only got picked because he was hurt. He was the 3rd pick in the draft. And players that don't play hurt, Allen Iverson, I see a comment here, stay in my lane, put his body on the line every game, played hard. He didn't care whether he was hurt. He went out there to play hard. These guys today are really soft. It's really, it's just, it's really a kind of a joke. All of the NBA, I see a comment here. I don't even know your screen name. You put up screen names. I don't even know how to say that. EJGOTHIE, whatever. All the NBA regular season is unwatchable, clearly. Anybody that pays, another comment here, Dale, anybody that pays to go to a Sixers game is a fool. I would agree with that. I think I'm going to go to sit in the stands and go to a game next week. That's because I was invited. I wouldn't pay for that. Why would I pay for that? It's just, and people had a lot of nice comments about Matt Nagy tonight. Let me see if there's anything else I want to say. I'm done with Mr. Softy Embiid. Hey, George, everybody's done with him, but you can't get rid of him because that fraud of a general manager signed him to a long-term contract. Patty recognizes the Giants are going to be better. The Giants are not a team to snooze on. I think they have a shot to win the NFC East this year. Good young players, good coaches. It's just, but Matt Nagy was great. We discussed a lot of things. We touched on a lot of things, and it's a good guy. He's a good coach, and the Giants are going to be good this year. And the Giants have a really good head coach. Can you imagine if I wore a New York Giants hoodie? Can you imagine if I wore a New York Giants hoodie? Whew, boy, people would give me all kinds of crap. Now, I might wear it, but I won't wear it out in public. But anyway, thanks to Matt Nagy tonight. Thanks to you. Oh, I got to give you a question. Got to give you a question. All right. Matt Nagy talked about the teams that he interviewed with for a head coaching job. He talked about the team that he was closest with, he thought he had a better chance of getting. But give me two of the four teams he mentioned, and the team, and if you have either one, you can win an Eagles hoodie, thanks to the Fanatics. It's a Mitchell and Ness hoodie, but thanks to the Fanatics for allowing me and giving that for me, for you. Go to my contact page, howardeskin.com, by midnight, Friday, March 6th. We'll announce on the show Saturday, March 7th at 8 a.m., either live on X, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe to YouTube whenever you can. Share if you can too. The more the merrier, so we get more comments. And the winner will be randomly chosen from all the correct entries. All right. The question to win the Eagles hoodie, as I had a Giants coach on, the four teams that Matt interviewed with for the head coaching job. But if you come up with the team that he thought he had the best shot with, I think I'll bend a little bit. If you name a couple of the teams that he interviewed with, but if you come up with the team that he thought he had the best shot to get a head coaching job, you'll win the Eagles hoodie, courtesy of the Fanatics. All right. Thanks to you, and thanks to my partners, and that would be Stillwell Financial Advisors, Thomas Chevrolet, and Piazza Property Pros. Thanks to all of you, and thanks for being a part, and thanks for riding with the King and being a part of the Howard Eskin Show. And of course, thanks to Matt Nagy. We will see you on Saturday. Have Mark Lawrence on, talk about the college football. We're getting close. I want to look at some of the things that he looks at in the NCAA tournament. There's probably some trends and some things that he looks at, because people, when they get caught up in that, and that's not that far away. So actually, it's very close. And we'll have him on Saturday, and we'll have you, and you can ride with the King. But thanks again, riding with the King on the Howard Eskin Show. Thanks to Joe Gangemi on the other side for the technical stuff. Tony Anastasia for helping me with the graphics and the website stuffs. Again, thanks to you, and have a good night and a good day tomorrow. And thank you.